Today's video, we're going to be going over the process of adding functionality to a base smart contract. So over the last few days, we've been able to put together a smart contract using the help of ChatGPT, both being able to compile the code and test run it on Remix. And so far, everything is running successfully. However, I did notice yesterday, I'm not exactly sure if ChatGPT included the feature that NFT holders can list their NFT at a price to be able to sell it to other wallets, as well as for it to be able to receive offers such as bids for higher prices than what people bought it for. So today I'm going to be using ChatGPT to add these functionalities into the code, as well as test some of the other functionalities that we are yet to run on Remix. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and get the share screen going. So yesterday we were able to test a few of the core functionality features that are going to be integral to the contracts that we make. First and foremost, just being able to mint the NFT itself, but also being able to deposit funds into the contract as the owner and distribute those funds to the wallets holding the NFT. There are other functionalities in here that we will be testing as well. But I do want to, like I mentioned, make sure that it is included in here. Token holders can transfer tokens to other people for different prices that they themselves can set. So I had typed into our Google Doc here some of the notes that we were going to ask ChatGPT. So we'll go ahead and ask ChatGPT about those functionalities. Because given the whole purpose of building this contract is, private equity, once you submit money for, whatever they're raising money for, typically you're not able to access that money until the person controlling the fund exits the project, whether that's a business, whether that's a piece of property. So we want people who buy the NFT to be able to sell it at any time, just so that way it provides a little bit more liquidity than traditional methods of using private equity. So my computer is running a bit slow. There we go. It's great to hear that the core functions are running as expected to address your new questions selling the NFTs. For NFT holders to set a price and sell their NFTs, we need to add a marketplace feature to the contract. So we do need to add that in. This would allow the NFT holder to list their NFT for sale at a specified price. Once listed, another user could purchase the NFT by sending the required amount of Ether to the contract, which would transfer the NFT to the buyer and send the funds to the seller. So it sounds like that part's going to be easy to add in. Let's see about bidding on NFTs. So to allow for offers and bidding, we could implement a system where potential buyers can submit bids for an NFT. The current owner would then have the ability to accept one of the bids, transferring the NFT to the bidder and sending the funds to the seller. Both of these features would require adding a market-like system to the contract where ownership transfers and fund distributions can occur securely. Would you like to move forward with integrating these features into your current contract, or do you prefer building this as a separate marketplace contract? I wonder what the difference is. Pros and cons. I'm leaning more towards just integrating it with our current, but let's see what it tells us. I do like both ideas. So I'm going to say, I think in the future, as the pros for a separate contract become a larger focus, it'll be useful to have a separate marketplace contract. For the moment, let's work on integrating marketplace features into my current contract. And once successful, we can create a separate market contract. This way, we can learn the process for both methods and having the knowledge going into the future. Awesome. Let's see what it gives us. So it looks like we've got all the functionality put in. So now it's just about testing. So we'll go ahead and pull the code, and then we're going to go ahead and we'll make V2. So we'll do microgreens fund V2. Go ahead and paste. We got a little bit of red. Where's the red at? What is this? This is something new. NFT doesn't exist. That's true. I just wanted to compile the code on Remix, but received the follow message. The error message, undeclared identifier indicates the function dash exists, is not recognized in the context where it's being used. So I'm only seeing 3 here when I see 4 here. So I checked the import statements and only following. All right. So I hit my free plant already, so I gotta wait a little bit to be able to use this, but let's see if that fixed the issue. Oh, it doesn't look like it. So I don't think that that was honestly the problem that we ran into. So let's see if we can troubleshoot this a little bit because we're gonna have to wait a good 3 hours, which is okay. And honestly, I suppose part of showing this process is showing we're gonna run into humps and errors because it's not all sunshine and rainbows, but we can see how much we can actually get done ourselves. It definitely does get a little bit more complex to be able to read because the first contract worked pretty much seamlessly with everything that we wanted to do. So let's read through this again and see what we can get. The error message, undeclared identifier indicates that the function exists is not recognized in the context it's being used. The exist function is part of the ERC 721 contract and it checks whether a token ID exists. Yep. Let's ensure that the ERC 721 functionality is being correctly inherited. And this is correct. So if this is correct, use exists within the correct context is an external function. It can be used within the contract that inherits ERC 721. That's already the case. Or misimport. Looks like it was spelled correctly. So check the import statements, check the version compatibility and code context. So maybe it's something with the code context. Verify the code surrounding the error. If there is a scope or visibility issue that can lead. If the error persists after these checks, please share the relevant part of the code around. Okay. So we need to figure out what undeclared identifier means. See what we can find. What does an undeclared identifier? A friend of mine suggested that I should clean the catches, but that didn't work. The code. Searching for a variable that has not been identified. So the issue might be in fact that similarly to beforehand when we had tried to create the first contract, and because we didn't have a address specified, we needed to edit the code so that the address used to deploy the contract would then be the owner. It may be the same case that it's expecting to read that an NFT exists even though it doesn't at the current moment. So let's see if Remix AI, what you got for me? To fix this error, you need to import ERC 721 from the original OpenZeppelin library instead of ERC 721 enumerable. I'm pretty sure that's similar to what it told us here. Yeah, it is. It's the exact same actually. So let's try what it recommended. So super, that didn't work. Let's go ahead and take that out then. So it's looking like we need to add this line. So let's see if it gives us anything different since we did add the import contract at the top. So this error indicates the Solidity compiler is unable to find a declaration for the identifier exists. In this case, the error occurs on line 78 when the function is called without being declared. The exist function is supposed to check if an NFT exists, but not implement. To fix this error, you need to implement the exist function. This function should return true if the NFT with the specified token ID exists and false otherwise. Here's an example of the exist function. So let's see. To fix this error, I'm just wondering where we're supposed to add this. Can I ask? Oh no, I guess I can't. There should be a feature that you can ask. No? Anywho, honestly, what I could do is I could have a marketplace feature that's initially put into the contract, and then I could have a bid function that's added on later. Honestly, that might be the move. Let's try that. That may fix the issue. We're just going to take out the bid info. Hint, withdraw, place bid. I'm going to go ahead and delete. Withdraw bid. Go ahead and delete a set bid. This is like fire code though. I do need to figure out a way to get this actually working, but I do want to have at least the option to list in the basic contract. Let's see if we can get this going. Oh, there was something that we did wrong. What did we do? The initial owner. Let's see what ChatGPT had us do the last time it gave us this. I have a feeling this isn't going to fix the problem, but it did, surprisingly. So it looks like this might have worked for adding in the ability to list it at a certain price, but now it's looking like I might not be able to actually change the contract owner. So I was able to to compile it. So we'll go ahead and deploy it. We're going to do 5833. So we'll enter in our variables. We'll have the address below be the recovery address. Like that. So it looks like our third contract we have sales transfer, safe transfer. There's the cancel listing. Okay, so there is something here. I can list the NFC. So given ChatGPT, is the expert, honestly, it might have known better, and it might have just been better to write a separate contract. So we still do have the original contracts that we deployed, which are up here. This does get us into the practice of, again, learning how to troubleshoot, because obviously with code, again, it's like learning a language. So the cool thing is we're able to know immediately. The harder, the more challenging part is going to be the process of actually figuring out the right solutions. So we were able to at least put together the contract and get it to be able to compile. We do just need to work on the process of observing what we're seeing and knowing how to implement the right solution. So I know that kind of sounded like a Kamala word salad, like just me saying the same thing multiple times. But we are just kind of limited on what we can do at the moment, just given I do have to wait for ChatGPT, which is kind of annoying. So it is what it is. Nonetheless, it still is a good learning experience. We're just going to need to, go back through. And that's part of the reason why I'm, doing this in the first place, recording the process, just so people can see it's not all sunshine and rainbows. There are certain hurdles you'll have to get over, but it's not impossible. You just have to work through it and be persistent. So we'll be back on tomorrow to be able to get this working and rolling properly. And tomorrow, we're probably going to just on building the marketplace contract, because again, our goal is just getting the repetitions in for getting familiar with Remix. So hopefully at some point we wouldn't even need ChatGPT necessarily to build it for us. Now, are we always going to use ChatGPT? Probably. It's like using a calculator nowadays, but we do want to understand more of it ourselves so that we can get better at using ChatGPT as the tool it's meant to be. So with that being said, we'll be back tomorrow to build the marketplace contract, and I will see you guys then.